So, as we stare at Kinzo being a clown, welcome back to Umineko. When they cry, everybody. Let's start out with checking out the character file, because I didn't do that last time. So let's do that first, and yeah, let's get right into this new part. So, new character, Ushiromiya Enji, as a 6-year-old. Oh, and okay, the crest is on her left, I guess, not shin, but behind her shin. Calf, I guess, is the best word for it, maybe. On the side of her leg. Rudolph and Kiria's daughter, Butler's younger sister from a different mother. Well, supposedly. She gets sick easily, but she managed to get better just in time to attend this year's family conference. She's so happy this year, surrounded by her beloved family and relatives. That's it? I guess that's it. Okay. We've read about everybody else. We don't need to read about them again. Alright, back to the episode. Yeah, last time we started off this episode. We had a whole scene with the battler giving Angie a key, telling her that she needs, when the time comes, she needs to choose whether she wants to leave the island or stay, and that he's going to invite her to that day. And so he's now the game master, I guess. I don't know, have to burn saying she's the game master. But yeah, we're now here. Battler's invited Angie to the island, and she's actually here physically. And it seems like Kinzo's also alive all of a sudden, and he's also here. Uh, and he's going all wild. And yeah, basically the family conference is going as usual. We've been having slice of life scenes just with Angie on them. And yeah, we're just continuing off of that. All right. I think I did a good enough recap. Whoa! Bounce! Alright, it's Halloween, everybody. October 4th. The cousins shouted it back. The adults returned the greeting too, looking a little embarrassed. Angie alone stood there with her mouth open, unable to comprehend what had just happened. He's excited.
お菓子をくれなきゃいたずらしてしまうぞである。
ほらマリア。おじいさま、ハッピーハロウィーン。今年はすごいの、驚いて驚いて。
Mother picked up a present that had been hidden behind a sofa. All of the other relatives were suddenly holding similar packages as well.
ほら、エンジェル。これをおじいさまに渡して。
Kiria handed Angie a neatly wrapped present.
おお、マリア！いつもありがとう。
Didn't they say in a past episode that Kinto didn't approve of Maria's name? Rose, I believe, said it in episode 5 or something. That Kinto didn't like that Rosa called her daughter Maria.
おじいちゃんは嬉しいぞ。
But that doesn't mean that he's not grateful to Maria for gifting him presents. I'm just saying, y'all. Just saying. As Kinto took Maria's present, a smile broke out across his face, and he rubbed his cheek up against it.
親方様、威厳をお忘れでございます。
そうであったな。嬉しいぞ、我が孫マリアよ。お菓子をくれたので、今年はいたずらは勘弁してやろうぞ。
今度はおじいさまの番。お菓子をくれなきゃいたずらしちゃうぞ。
心得ておるぞ。源氏。
こちらを。
Maria also is gonna get a present. Genji fished through something that looked like Santa Claus' sack and pulled out a present addressed to Maria, handing it over to Kinzo.
あれ、マリア。おじいちゃんからのプレゼントであるぞ。これはの、かわいいぞ。マリアにあげるのが惜しいわい。
Master, your dignity.
親方様威厳
Yeah.
これは後宮家当主からのマリアへのプレゼントである。これはそのかわいい後宮家の貫禄にふさわしい品であるぞ。心して受け取るがよい。
ありがとうおじいさま。
大好き。
チュチュチュ。
Hey, what is that sound?
おー、マリア、我がかわいい孫よ。
我がかわいい。
てっちゃてっちゃちゃ。
Okay. At this point, even Genji had to give up on Kinzo's dignity. Still, the dignity of the family had lasted a full 10 seconds longer than usual this year.
おじいさま、ハッピーハロウィン。これは僕からです。
ハッピーハロウィン。これは私から。気に入ってくれるといいんだけど。
おお、ジョージにジェシカ。今年もありがとう。私は嬉しいぞ。
With tears streaming down his face, Kinzo hugged George and Jessica. Ah, nice, nice.
おお、そしてバトラか。
You haven't seen him in 6 years yet?
よく戻ってきたな、後宮家に。寂しかったぞ、この6年間。
いや、まあハッピーハロウィン。気に入ってくれるかわからねえけど。
良いのだバトラよ。言いたいこともあろう、聞きたいこともあろう。だが今はそれはなしだ。
じいさん、
よく後宮家に戻ってきてくれたな。私は嬉しいぞ。
Yeah. Interesting that Kinzo's acting like this. Slowly, Kinzo moved forward and hugged Battler. Battler drew back at first, but he then understood Kinzo's feelings and hugged him back. Ninji watched this scene play out, shocked. Was Ishirome Kinzo always this kind of person?
エンジェ、次はお前の番だぞ。
Was he always this kind of person? Ninji?
ほら、それをおじいさまに渡して。
あ、うん。
Angie didn't have a clue what was going on. She took the present her mother had given her and walked forward timidly. Kinzo's face, which had been looking so cheery a second ago, seemed to become much sterner the moment Angie stepped forward. No, it hadn't become stern. That expression was the one always formed by the Kinzo inside Angie's mind. This was Ishirome Kinzo. He was fickle, short-tempered, always with a stern expression on his face. The most terrifying person in the Ishirome family. Was he though? Again, I don't feel like we actually ever got to see how Kinzo's truly like. We just got to see him in different perspectives by different people. But how was Kinzo really like? It felt as though the world had gone suddenly quiet, and it only done it when it was my turn to step forward. Why? Why only for me? But even so, Isn't this the way it should be? Isn't this the Ushiroma Kinzo I expect? The Ushiroma Kinzo I understand? I was like a puppet carrying tea. I walked forward, bewildered, with the present held out in front of me, and stopped in front of Kinzo. Without letting his expression change in the slightest, Kinzo slowly reached out and touched the present. Oh! Oh! Oh, I think this is also in the opening of Inanna's dream. Oh, look at this! Kinzo's happy to see Angie, and there's Shimari on the right. Oh, this is a great wallpaper. This is a great wallpaper. Wow. Ah, I could stare at this all day. Look at Buddy smiling as well, yeah. You know what? We would all like to believe this is how Kinzo was actually like. I feel like. Imagine if Kinzo was actually like this. Who knows? Maybe he was. Maybe he was. Who knows how Kinzo was actually like? Who knows how all sorts of interpretations change how Kinzo was actually like? Who knows? But okay, anyway. In an instant, Angie was caught in a firm embrace, present and all. Kinzo's white beard rubbed against her cheek. Or maybe Battlers do this because Battler's the game master? So Battler can control the pieces?
親方様、鼻水だ。ついでに威厳もお忘れなく。
源氏、すまぬ。
I all want. Bro is struggling. As the old man blew his nose, he didn't look like he could possibly be anyone other than a candy grandpa, overcome with tears at his grandchildren's gifts.
ありがとう、エンジ。聞けば、体調が悪いのに無理をしてきてくれたそうだな。おじいちゃんは本当に嬉しいぞ。さあ、お前にはこれだ。
He pressed a large gift box to Angie's chest. A large gift box. Okay. She finally realized that all the presents given out by Kinzo were wrapped differently and in boxes of different sizes.
エンジには何だろうな。毎年じいさまが誰に何を送るか自分で考えてるそうだぜ。これだけの大人数をよくやるもんだよな。
毎年自分で。
That does mean he cares for his grandchildren. Or at least it's a sign. It doesn't necessarily mean so, but it's definitely a sign. I'm just saying, Angie. He does what every year? He picks what himself? This bizarre ceremony happens every year. The cousins were all happily chattering about what their Halloween presents would be this year. Moira came up to Angie and suggested that they compare the weights of their presents. But for some reason, Angie just stared blankly. After that, the adults also handed their presents to Kinzo one by one, receiving a gift in return, along with considerate words about their health and questions about how they've been doing recently. Then, after watching to see that all exchanges had been completed, Gora appeared and announced that lunch was ready.
そうか、準備ができたか。 さあ一同諸君、豪田自慢のランチに舌鼓を打とうではないか。さあさあ食堂へ移動しよう。
どうぞ皆様ご案内いたします。
プレゼントは私どもでゲストハウスのお部屋へお運びいたします。
どうぞ置いたままでお食事に向かわれてください。
The relatives stood up, leaving their presents where they lay on tables and sofas, and followed Kinzo out of the parlor. Only Angie remained standing there, stunned, as she clutched the gift box Kinzo had given her. Hope. Never once had Goda's lunches betrayed expectations. When Hideyoshi said that the lunches were the only reason anyone ever came to these family conferences, everyone laughed and nodded. Delicious food has a way of keeping conversation flowing. You've gotten so tall. How have you been lately? Oh, you know, not bad. It was a fun meal, with everyone asking each other about the latest and laughing together. The Ushiroma family sat at meals in a specific ranked seating order, so the adult siblings, the cousins, and the spouses all sat in groups. That made it even easier for conversation to flow smoothly. Angie had withdrawn slightly from the cousins' chat and was looking around the dining hall. So yeah, the seating order should be a little bit shifted because sure Leon isn't here, but Angie's here now, so that's gonna shift it a little bit compared to the usual where she doesn't visit in 1986, but Battler does. What are Kinzo and the adult siblings doing? Their conversations seem to be peaceful and fun. Most of the time, the siblings were mothers or fathers of their own households. However, when they gathered together by themselves in front of Kinzo, that burden was lifted from their shoulders, and they became young and bright as though they'd gone back to being kids again. Rudolph, who was usually an easygoing father, but one with a sense of dignity, became so bright and cheery in this group that it almost looked like there was another battler. Even Kinzo looked peaceful and relaxed. He didn't say a word about money or the inheritance. In fact, he didn't even insult his children or call them incompetent. He just looked like a happy old man, genuinely pleased to have his whole family together for the only time this year. The group of spouses was just as harmonious. Their conversation jumped from topic to topic on motherly issues like their children's education, the running of the household, and family health. Hideyoshi and even Nanjo happily joined in. Yeah, Nanjo has a son himself. Although he does have a son himself. And what about the cousins? There was no way that such a fun dinner table with such a fun group of friends could fail to be raucous. Mario was in her element, showing off her knowledge of Halloween trivia. George and Jessica would nod in understanding. Bat would say something stupid, and Mario would laugh at him. If I wanted, I could easily join in on the conversation. And I could easily slip out of it too by shifting my attention to the dessert. It was happiness, both fun and natural. It felt like I was enjoying a pleasant doze in the rays of the springtime sun.
天気予報によると今夜あたりからだいぶ崩れるらしいな。
台風らしいからな。これ今年も一泊じゃ済まなさそうだぜ。
私は一向に構わんぞ。 一泊と言わずいつまででも泊まっていくがいい。可愛い孫の顔が何日でも見られるなら、私は毎日雨乞いをしてもよいぞ。
よしてよ、仕事があるんだから。お父様が島を出ればいいんじゃない？
Leave the island?
そうすればもっと好きな時に孫の顔を見られるでしょうに。
確かに風情はあるが、離島の暮らしはそろそろ答えるんじゃありませんか。
都会はうるさい。私の家族だけしかいない静かな島が一番だ。私はここを気に入っている。
でも六軒島じゃいざという時お医者様を呼ぶのにも時間がかかるわ。
So you got Nanjo, wink wink, haha.
同感よ。もうお父様も年なんだから、せめて新島に引っ越すべきだと思うわ。
Oh, to be fair, Nanjo is Nanjo probably lives in Nijima, right? Because that's, well, we know that's where eventually his son holds place, the clinic, so.
私はもう老いた。
I doubt that Nanjo's here all times, unlike the servants, right?
家族だけに囲まれて静かに暮らしたい。そして私は幸せ者だ。それを実現できるこの島があるのだから。
お父さん。
しんみりさせてしまったな。諸君、これでゴーダのランチは終了だ。孫たちよ、明日からはずっと雨らしい。晴れているのは今しかないぞ。バラをめでて、それから浜辺を散歩してはどうか。
そうですね。じゃあみんなそうさせてもらおうか。
バラをめでて浜辺を散歩する。貝殻拾いしてガラス拾いもする。
Collect glass, okay.
ガラス拾い？
Yeah, this is why Batter's to go. Me and Batter are the same person, guys. Basically, we asked the same question. Oh, look at us go.
なんだそりゃ、危ないな。
ガラスのかけらが波に現れて丸くなって綺麗な石になって流れ着いてるんだよ。忘れたかよバトラー。昔一緒に拾ったろ。
ああ、あれガラスのかけらだったのか。俺はてっきりそういう綺麗な石なんだと思い込んでたぜ。
Pretty gems.
エンジはガラスの石見たことある？ない。
Nine.
じゃあ行こ
She said no in Norwegian. I swear, bro. Nine. I mean, that's how you say no in Norwegian. You say nine. I'm not even joking. You guys might think I'm joking, but I'm not. It's literally just nine. If you want to say no, I'll say nine. I'm not even joking. Yeah, it's for real. It's the same language. No, I'm joking. But it's almost like she changed language. But I'm sure maybe it's one of the ways one can say no in Japanese, and it's just the same way as it is in Norwegian, which is kind of cool, I guess. Nine.
う。マリアが教えてあげるよ。行こう行こう。でも早い者勝ちだよ。マリアが全部拾っちゃう。
なら私も負けないぜ。誰が一番綺麗で大きなガラス石を拾えるか競争しよう。
やれやれ。ここは一つ童心に戻るとするかな。負けねえぞ。じゃあ僕たちは浜辺へ行ってきます。
Guess they're done with lunch and dessert.
いとこ同士のんびりしてくるがよい。
cousins rose from their seats and nosily left the dining hall. Muddy grabbed Angie's hand and dragged her along. However, Angie's expression was vague and absent-minded, the opposite of Muddy's full smile. That's the end of the chapter. Oh, okie dokie. We're gonna keep reading though, of course, because we haven't been reading for that long. 6-year-old Angie. Okay. So we're gonna be talking about Angie. We're gonna focus on 6-year-old Angie. Because yeah, if I had been recording for about an hour-ish, then this would have been a good spot to end. But since we've only been recording for half the duration, we're gonna keep going. Okay. The cousins walked along the water's edge, playing. They searched for bits of glass, polished by the waves to become small and gem-like. They caught up on news of each other's lives and joked around. They wrote words in the sand. They chased the receding waves and ran away from the coming ones. Nice. Good one. The cousins enjoyed this time they had to themselves.
待て待てマリア、今度は許さねえぞ。転ぶと怪我をするよ。二人とも気をつけて。
落ちる。
風が強くなってきたかな。そろそろ引き上げた方がいいかもしれねえぜ。
Where's Shannon at? Shannon's typically out here with y'all and having a discussion, right? I want to hear her say that she wants Battler to come to her on a white horse. Because according to you guys, she mentioned it in the first couple of episodes in the question marks, and I just well, not forgot about it, but you know, I took it as a slice of life scene, so it's hard to notice. Let's see, where's Shannon at?
そうだね。空も曇ってきた気がするよ。バトラ君、マリアちゃん、そろそろおしまいにして一度ゲストハウスに戻ろうか。
やだ、もっと遊ぶ。
こらこら、聞き分けろおい。じゃあこれでおしまいだ。ほら、俺のガラス市やるよ。
おー、本当？ありがとうバトラー。これで一番数が多いのはマリアだから優勝だね。
エンジェ、大丈夫か？
Yeah, why is nobody playing with Angie? Come on now.
どうしたエンジェ？少し元気ないぞ。疲れたんだよ。さあ、みんなで戻ろう。
True, Angie's expression probably looked tired. However, Battler alone thought he saw something else in it.
なんかあったのか？話してごらん。
なんでもない。
She said that, but something in her expression showed that she was unsatisfied for some reason. However, since Angie wouldn't say what it was, and Battler couldn't think of anything, that was the limit of what he could figure out. So, he squeezed her small hand, silently letting her know that she could tell him whenever she was ready. Hi, Battler. It had seemed such a bright, sunny day until a short while ago. However, the sky had turned grey, and the wind had started to feel more annoying than pleasant. If they waited around, they might have to deal with scattered raindrops as well.
これであとはずーっと大雨ってわけか。なんだかげんなりするぜ。
でも短い時間だったけど童心に戻れて楽しかったよ。
このガラス石、早くママに見せてあげるの。
Yep, George saying it was fun to be a kid again for a little while. Someone did a very good analysis of George's character on my comments. and I read it, and I thought it was splendidly written. You know, George never gets to play around like a kid. Only in he only gets to do that in the family conferences, right? Because Eva is so strict on him, right? We saw Eva, the whole Eva teacher scene. I remember that in episode 6, where she's like, "Oh, on Mondays, what days are they? On Tuesday, what do you do? On Wednesday?" George never got a break week. He never got to actually hang around and be a kid and have fun. So the family conferences where he could be with his cousins like this are the only times he could be a kid. And it's true, and that has definitely impacted George and his social and emotional development too, and definitely shows as well with his conversation with Shannon, saying that he only grew because of her, right? You know, being with her, he stopped being an incel, basically. You know, he used to think that the way he was the best way, you know, was the best way to attract girls, but then he was jealous of Battler because Battler was so charming in that. So that was a very good analysis, basically, by that commenter. I like that a lot. So. And I think I definitely changed my point of view on George's character. So.
マリアが優勝したってママに教えるの。
And we know Rudolph is not as strict on Battler, or Battler's parents are not strict on him as Eva is on George, right? Eva really wants George to become the next head and everything. Rudolph doesn't have that expectation on Battler, right? We can see that by the way they talk to each other, and Kitty there as well, right? Rudolph is a lot more easygoing on Battler than Eva is on George, for example, right? So yeah. Jessica, it's more like, I mean, she's not as, you know, because Eva has this point of view that she really wants to become the next head. She really wants George to fulfill her wishes and become the next head. Cross and Nuts don't push Jessica the same way. So while yes, they do pressure her, they tell her to stop talking, you know, the masculine Japanese tone that she uses. But you know, ultimately they give her a bit more freedom in that sense, where when she goes to school, she can hang around with friends, and then she does get that social development there. And also, Jessica lives on the island the entire time, right? So she never gets to, you know, she doesn't have neighbors, she doesn't have friends to visit really. So that is true. But she also gets to hang around with the servants around her age, right? Not just Shannon, but also Belne and Asne, and we never got to learn what Mamon's name was as a servant, but you know, you get the gist of it, right? So yeah, and what else was it? Yeah, and even though Nazi was unaware that they were hanging out so much, right? Because Shannon used times where she could sneak away to hang out with Jessica to do it, right? And Genji and Kurosawa would obviously allow it to happen, but yeah, Nazi would never approve necessarily because doesn't want Jessica to hang out with servants. But yeah, but George's situation is so different. He has had a very restricting life in childhood. He's been forced to become the sort of person that acts like this today. And yeah. Anyway, let's keep it moving.
俺が見つけたやつを譲ったんだけどな。
おお、マリアがもらったからマリアのものなの。だからマリアが優勝なの。
It's true, Battler. You made your decision. You gave her that. It's hers now. Yeah, you can't complain now. You can't be all smug about it now. Angie walked distractedly, pulled along by her brother. George and the others thought that she had probably woken up too early and was tired, so they didn't try to talk to her much. As they reached the end of the forested path, the rose garden lay before them. They could see the strong winds making the rose bushes wave.
Mama! 見て！マリアが優勝したの！
Waving a hand about and yelling, Maria ran. Rosa was waving to her from the front of the guest house.
私は一度自分の部屋に戻るぜ。
To your room.
そしたらすぐいとこ部屋に行くよ。
Okay. I wonder why Jessica's planning to go to her room.
わかったよ。じゃあ、後ほどね。
Jessica ran off in the direction of the mansion. George turned around, as though suggesting that they had better get going too. However, when he saw Angie standing still with a crabby look on her face, he realized that she might have been put into a bad mood by something.
大丈夫かい？ああ、大丈夫だよ。悪いけど、先に行っててくれねえかな。わかったよ。
Yeah, George is very understanding.
じゃあ、後で。
George headed for the guest house. The only ones left in the rose garden were Battler, who was waving at George, and Angie, who was still staring at the ground and holding Battler's hand. For the past few minutes, he had repeatedly asked Angie what was wrong. He realized that this wasn't anything like a stomachache, or something obvious that had put her into a bad mood. However, young girls sometimes get upset for reasons that only they can understand. Battler knew this, so he didn't rush her in any way, and continued to gaze around the beautiful rose garden, holding her hand. Battler is a... Wait.
お兄ちゃん。
Battler is such a caring older brother, you know. He really is. He really is. You know, you wouldn't necessarily expect this in a sense, because of the way, you know, he's good with children, right? Of course, and you know, but the way he always treated Maria. But this makes sense though, because Angie is his little sister, so maybe Battler feels that extra sense of responsibility and that, oh, it's his little sister, he knows her well, he's the one that knows her best, and he's got to take care of her, so... Battler's a good older brother, you know.
どうした？
どこ？ここ。
どこ？こと？どこ？どこ？ She asked the question, as though she was talking about something on the other side of the silver screen. Though Battler understood what that question meant, he played dumb.
どこって？六軒島だろ？
違うわ。
違わねえさ。
これのどこが六軒島だっていうのよ。
1986年10月4日のお前が知りたがってた六軒島だ。
嘘よ。
どうして？
こんなの嘘っぱちだわ。
Angie wrenched her hand from her brother's grip. That hand hit a rose and sent flower petals flying.
俺は嘘なんかつかねえ。
I don't lie. Tell that to Shaman. Ooh, I said it! Nah, I'm joking.
これのどこが真実だっていうの？
Angie spat those words out. However, Battler's expression remained calm and composed.
何が気に入らない？
後宮金蔵ってあんな人のわけないでしょ。
孫たちとしばらくぶりに再会したなら、どこのじいさんだって目尻を下げるだろうぜ。
少なくとも後宮金蔵はそういう人じゃなかったでしょ。後宮金蔵ってのは。
Isn't that just your interpretation of him? We never actually saw how Kinzo was. We only saw how other people talked about him.
厳格で気難しく、短気で怒りっぽい。
And fickle.
分かってるじゃない。何よあれ。あれのどこが後宮金蔵なのよ。
She's dissatisfied because Kinzo's not the Kinzo she was imagining in her mind.
ハロウィンプレゼント効果何よそれこんなの後ろ宮金蔵じゃないロケン島じゃない
エンジェは覚えてないのか。
何がよ
こんなのはいつも恒例だったじゃねえか。
これこれが
そうだよな。お前が親族会議に来たのは6歳より前なんだもんな。なら覚えてなくても無理はない。
覚えてなくてもって
Angie understood what her brother was trying to say. However, she couldn't accept it.
後宮金蔵は確かに厳しい人だったさ。若かった時は相当きつく息子たちに当たっていたらしい。それが半ばトラウマになってクソ親父たちが未だじい様のことをおっかながっていることはまあ確かに外れじゃない。
The grand tale of how Kinzo had restored the Ishima family was more than enough to paint him as a rigid, terrifying man. Furthermore, Kinzo was an investor. All the legends and tales that made him seem more mysterious had probably worked in his business's favor. At times, Kinzo may even have acted out this part people expected, endeavoring to make his presence all the more overpowering. That's why the world at large spoke of Ishima Kinzo as a strict, short-tempered man. And they even thought of him as a fickle, bold, incomprehensible eccentric. And that's what Angel's hearing her entire life, right? Because she was only 5 years old, so she doesn't remember. But Angie, after the accident, all she heard people talk about Kinzo was, you know, strict, short-tempered, fickle man. That's the sort of view they painted on her, and that's why we've seen Kinzo like that. But like I was saying, we never actually got to see how Kinzo was actually like. So this might not be too inaccurate. Genji going, "Hey, well, Kinzo dignity." That might not be too inaccurate. We don't actually know how things were, really.
でもそれはじい様の外の顔だ。
And also, to be fair, Kinzo should have been dead by this point, according to the red truth. So, well, let's forget about that for now. Let's just accept this world for now.
後宮家で親類一同水入らずで過ごす時の顔じゃない。
目尻を下げて孫たちを溺愛する涙腺の緩んだ老人が後宮金蔵の本当の姿だっていうの。
エンジェだって遊んでもらったり頭を撫でてもらったりしたことがあるはずだ。本当に覚えてないのか。
Things like that might have happened once or twice, but that would only have been a mere whim of Kinzo's. My parents told me all the time, grandfather is a terrifying person, so make sure you don't mess up. They always said that he's very scary, so take care. But again, you're just hearing what your parents are saying. You have to create your own impression of Kinzo, as in, you have to meet him for yourself and see, maybe that's not what he's actually like.
怖い人なのよ。
幼いお前は親の言いつけを過剰に聞いて鵜呑みにする。よく言えば素直な。悪く言えば思い込みの激しい子だった。親父たちは行儀よくしてるようにと念を押していただけなんだ。
私見てたもん、知ってたもん。後宮金蔵は恐ろしい人だって怒鳴ってるところを見たことがあるもん。私は覚えてる、忘れない。
さっきも見た通り、じいさまは唐突なお人だ。ひょっとすると何かを驚かそうとしたのかもしれない。あるいは親たちとの真剣な議論の中でつい怒鳴ってしまったこともあったかもしれない。
それを私が勝手に怯えて、勝手にそうだと思い込んだっていうの？そんなはずないわ。そんなはずない。だって私は覚えてるもの忘れない。ちゃんと見たわ。後宮金蔵が怒鳴ってる恐ろしいところ。父さんも母さんも怯えていたわ。だからわかるの。私はわかる。
幼いお前が抱いたじいさまの印象はそのまま残り、お前の成長とともに膨らんだ。
How many times did Angie see Kinzo in her life? How old was she when she last saw him? The last time she saw him? Angie, who got sick easily when under pressure, couldn't have gone to Rokujima often. And since she was absent for the family conference when she was 6, her last memories of him must have come from when she was just 5 years old.
お兄ちゃんだって6年間後宮金蔵には会ってないじゃない。
そうだな。でも6年ぶりに帰ってきて、じいさまは6年経っても全く変わってなかったって知ったぜ。
And also, Battler would have been 12 years old when he left, so much older than a 5-year-old, and when you're 12, you retain more memories as well, so I don't know, I remember much more from when I was 12 than when I was 5, that's for sure. Much more.
金蔵は気まぐれで何を考えてるかわからなくて、不気味なオカルト趣味の鬼人で。
オカルト趣味なのは間違いない。妖精の趣味にしちゃちょいと珍しいものだったのは事実だ。その不気味な収集品で孫を怖がらせてからかう悪い趣味があったことは俺も認める。
Even Battler had been pranked by Kinzo in the past. He showed me an attache case with 7 strange stakes in it, and said something about how witches in the Middle Ages used them in sacrificial rituals to gouge out the heart. Scary. When Kinzo first showed me those, I was pretty frightened, but looking back on it, it really was the kind of prank that could only fool a child. Grandfather only scared his grandchildren because he wanted to joke around with them.
じいさまはきっとお前にも同じことをしてからかったと思う。幼いお前がそれに怯えてじいさまを不気味で恐ろしい人だと思い込んだとしても無理もない話だと思う。
お兄ちゃんが何を言ってるのかわからない。
Angie bit her lower lip and stared at the ground. She said she didn't understand, but in truth, she understood perfectly and was refusing to accept it.
さっき客間でハロウィンのプレゼント交換があったな。
何よあれ。あんな甘ったるいこと後宮家でやるわけがない。
お前はまるで覚えてないんだな。
私もかつてプレゼントをもらったことがあるというの？覚えてない。そんなのあるわけがない。
オカルト好きで西洋かぶれのじいさまがハロウィンをやらないと思うか？じいさまのハッピーハロウィンはもう親族会議の挨拶みたいなもんだったぜ。 エンジェラってもらってるはずだ。幼いってのは残酷だな。じいさまが心を込めて選んだろうプレゼントも、お前の心には全く残らなかった。
私が幼かったから覚えてないだけで、あれが真実の10月4日だというの？
あの日も6年前と何も変わらず、じいさまはハッピーハロウィンの声とともに客間にやってきたよ。そして俺との6年ぶりの再会に涙をこぼしてくれながら、俺とプレゼントの交換をした。じいさまはエンジが来れなかったことを残念がっていたよ。だからエンジにぜひ渡してくれと、キリエさんにプレゼントボックスを預けていた。
そんなプレゼント私は知らない。
Because everyone boom?
受け取ってない。
Just maybe everything won't boom and so did your present with it? Maybe.
そうだな。
Just a theory though, Angie. I don't know about you.
お前に届けることはできなかったな。
私は信じない。あんな後ろ宮金蔵なんて信じない。じゃあ親族会議はどうなの？遺産分配のためのきな臭いものじゃなかったの？親族兄弟たちはみんな資金繰りに困っていた。そのために金蔵の遺産を渇望していた。
Oh man. What an argument not say never we're having.
エンジェはそんなことをどこで知った？
どこって、そうでしょ？それが真実でしょ？
幼いエンジに親父が自分の会社の経営が苦しいなどと相談すると思うか？親父だけじゃない、クラウスおじさんやエヴァおばさん、ローザおばさんが幼いエンジに資金繰りに困っているから早く遺産が欲しいなんて話を。仮にするにしてもお前がいる前ですると思うか？
だってでも本当でしょ？
That was the bottom line. Angie's words were not mistaken. Not only Rudolph, but Cross, Hideyoshi, and Rose as well. All had companies in money trouble. People started talking about the Rokijima explosion accident as though it was some sort of conspiracy. Oh yeah, so they're just saying it right out now. Rokijima explosion accident. I mean, we know it's an explosion now because of the Tea Party, but yeah, so they're just saying it out loud now. Rokijima explosion accident. As though it was some sort of conspiracy. And a mystery imagined by the public covered the island. Weekly magazines and television shows researched the circumstances of Kinzo's children at the time, and in the future where Angie lived, that research had been made public.
お前がそれを知ったのは1986年よりも後の。
でも事実でしょ？事実は真実。
だから六軒島での親族たちは遺産をめぐってギスギスしていたってわけか？そこにエンジェの幼い頃の親族会議では粗相がないように行儀よくしているようにと親に重ねて言われて緊張した記憶が重なる。
私の知っている六軒島が、後宮家が間違ってるっていうの？ 私は認めないわ。あんな後ろ宮金蔵、断じてあんな後ろ宮金蔵を受け入れることなんてできない。
エンジェルは信じないのか？
信じない。お兄ちゃんがどういうつもりでこんなものを見せているのかわからないけれど。
Butler did tell you to believe everything that he said.
だってこれはお兄ちゃんのゲーム、いえゲーム版じゃない。ベアトだのベルンだの何人もの魔女が私の運命を嘲笑い、そのゲームで屈服させようとしてきたわ。でも私は真実を求めている。魔女たちのまやかしなんか通用しない。なるほどね、魔女たちめ。最後の資格にお兄ちゃんを送り込んできたってわけだわ。
You can't even trust your Onichan?
そうだな。これは俺のゲームだ。だから確かにこれは俺の物語であり、俺が紡いでいる。だからこそ、もしもお前が島に来ることができたならというイフを混ぜることができる。
ほら、お兄ちゃんの物語じゃない。全部お兄ちゃんの嘘っぱちの作り話じゃない。
そうだな。
So you don't believe in Butler?
これは全て俺の作り話だ。
ほら、認めたわね。認めたじゃない。やっぱりこれはお兄ちゃんの嘘なのよ。どうして嘘をつくの？どうして私に真実を教えてくれないの？
That really sounds like Angie, by the way. That really sounds like Angie's voice actress, like even adult Angie. So, I guess teenage, 18-year-old, but you know what I mean. So, it does seem like Angie's voice actress is able to voice both the kid and the adult Angie, which is impressive.
真実よりもっと大切な、どうしても伝えたいことがあるからだ。
真実より大切なこと？何それ、わけわかんない。
それを分からせるためのものが俺のゲームだ。
Just as Beato's games were made to make Battler believe in witches. Well, that and to make Battler understand Beato's feelings. Or Beato in general, right? That's why those games were made. So, Battler's game was made to communicate something to Angie that was more important than the truth. Games never bring about their intended ends by force. After all, Beato's game could never be won for all eternity unless Battler himself acknowledged his loss. Battler's game was the same. This was a game that Battler can win unless Angie acknowledged it herself. So, Battler had advanced this game just as Beato had done in the past. To believe or not, to accept or not. The decision lay solely in the hands of the opponent. And so, Battler was trying to enshroud Angie with his own illusion.
ようやく理解したわ。これは私とお兄ちゃんのゲームなのね。
エンジェ、俺はお前とゲームをしているつもりはない。
いいえ、これはゲームだわ。私は1986年10月4日の真実が知りたいと願った。そしてお兄ちゃんは私にそれを見せると言ってこのゲームへ招いたわ。そしておかしな幻想を見せて、それが真実だと私に信じ込ませようとしている。おあいにくね。私魔女たちとのやりとりは慣れてるの。 お兄ちゃんが優しそうな顔をして私を騙そうとしてることなんて百も承知なんだから。
The big brother knew that no words of his would have any effect on his enraged little sister. So, he just quietly listened to Angie's words. But for Angie, even that was frustrating.
もうくだらない茶番は飽き飽きだわ。お兄ちゃんに真実を話す気がないと言うならもうおしまいにして。私は私の真実を自分で探す。お兄ちゃんには頼らない。そうよ、もともと頼るべき人間なんて私にはいなかったじゃない。私はいつだって一人ぼっちだったわよ。
悪いがこのゲームから降りることは許さない。
So, see? You're calling it a game!
ああ、そうだったわね。ゲームマスターが負けを認めない限りゲームは永遠に終わらないんだったっけ。
そんなつもりはないさ。黙って話を聞けってだけのことだ。
ああ、そうなら黙ってることにするわ。プレイヤーがいなくても駒は勝手に動きゲームは進む。そうだったわよね。
そうだな。プレイヤーを離れ少し傍観者になるといい。そしてまた戻ってきたい時に戻ればいい。
そうさせてもらうわ。これは根比べよ。お兄ちゃんが真実をごまかすことを諦めるまでのね。真実より大切なこと？意味わかんない。そんなものあるわけがない。
あるんだよ、エンジ。仮に俺の物語が真実でなかったとしても、あったとしても、お前は大切なものをこの島でなくしているんだ。
お父さん、お母さん、そしてお兄ちゃん。私が亡くしたのは家族と、そして全てよ。
She spat out those words as though no further questioning would do any good, and looked away. Even as he watched this, Bartle's expression remained gentle.
勝手に進めなさいよ。じゃあね、お兄ちゃん。
物語だけはちゃんと見ていろよ。聞くだけでもいい。
気が向いたらね。じゃあ。
Okay. Angie's eyes clouded. She became a piece. No longer a player. Then, a particularly strong gust of wind blew by, sending her hair flying. The wind must have been carrying some dust with it. Angie's nose twitched, and she sneezed loudly.
お兄ちゃん、
なんだい？
いつまでここにいるの？なんかお天気変。ゲストハウスに帰ろうよ。
Angie's eyes weren't clouded anymore. However, the tone and atmosphere about those eyes seemed somehow different from before. In a manner typical of young girls, Angie signaled that she was too bored and wanted to go do something. This Angie was clearly a 6-year-old Angie.
そうだね。じゃあ、エンジはゲストハウスに戻ってるといい。お兄ちゃんはまだここにいるよ。
どうして？もうすぐ雨が降ってくるよ。
そろそろ来るはずなんだ。
She?
だから俺は待ってるよ。
Shannon?
待ってるって誰？
The Golden Witch, there's the butterflies. Then, to Angie's eyes, it looked as though the strong winds were now carrying flakes of gold along with them. No, she had definitely seen something, but she wasn't able to describe what she had seen. So to her it had seemed like flakes of gold dancing on the wind.
来たか。ずいぶん待ったぜ。
Birth of New Witch? Okay. It was as though he was talking to the wind. Bato spoke to the empty rose garden. That can't be right. After all, it was clear from his words that he was talking to someone right in front of him. So, Angie thought it must be someone that she alone couldn't see, and she rubbed her eyes. Then, she opened her eyes wide. Another large gust of wind blew past her. Yeah, I remember this song. This is from the episode 6. This played at the very end of episode 6, didn't it? It was how the episode ended, with the credits. Alright, yeah, she opened her eyes wide, another large gust of wind blew past her. She shut her eyes immediately, and when she timidly opened them, from the other end of the rose garden, yes, from the path that led up from the harbor, a person appeared. To Angie, it looked as though she had appeared along with a cloud of gold flakes carried by the wind. It's the human Beato though, not the witch Beato.
そうか、むしろ早いぞ。
たまにはお前も一緒に船に乗ればいいんだ。
柵に捕まってお前と一緒に叫ぶか。
落ちる
いいぜ、叫ぼうぜ。落ちる落ちるってな。
落ちる
なるほど、それも悪くなかった。認めよう。どうやらわらわが来るのは遅かったらしい。
The pair casually walked up to each other and hugged. It looked like a pair of friends being reunited after several years. Angie, surprised by this unfamiliar woman, looked for somewhere to hide. However, her eyes met Beato's, and she lost her chance to escape.
おお、そなたはエンジェか。
She was shocked to hear this unfamiliar woman suddenly use her name.
こやつも6歳の頃はなかなかに可愛かったではないか。
お兄ちゃん、この人誰？
お兄ちゃんの友人だ。
Friend of mine?
友人。
I was gonna say,
それはあんまりだろうが。
that's rough, buddy.
お兄ちゃんの友達？
こいつはベアトリーチェ。おじいちゃんから聞いたことないな。後ろ宮家に黄金を授けてくれた黄金の魔女の話。
Have I heard that before? The Golden Witch. Now I remember. That was the scary witch who would snatch you away off into the forest if you didn't listen to your parents or stayed up too late on Okujima. Hmm.
雨の夜、真っ暗な森を窓から眺めてると、魔女と目が合って さらわれてしまうかもしれないってお母さんに言われた。
ということは、わらわは夜更かしの子供を見張るため、寒い雨の中窓を一つ一つ覗き込まねばならぬというのか。それはあまりに無体な。
確かにエンジ、それはお前に夜更かしをさせないための親の作り話だ。彼女はそんなことはしない。
よかろう、名乗ろうぞ。わらわは黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ。
Now you can read her character file.
のお孫さんだ。
Or her grandchild.
孫？
お孫さんとはなんともしまらぬ呼び名であるな。
It's accurate though.
だってそうだろ。じいさまに黄金を授けて黄金の魔女と呼ばれたのはお前のばあさまの話だろうが。
This is true.
確かにそうではあるわ。黄金の魔女の孫。そのキャッチコピー、もう少しマシなものにはならぬのか。
この人魔女なの？
ああ、そうだよ。今日の親族会議に招かれたお客さんだ。
怖い魔女じゃないの？暗い森に私をさらったりしない？
おのれ、ルドルフに切り絵め。一体わらわを何だと思って吹き込んだのやら。わらわはそんなことはせぬわ。後で厳重に抗議する。ブンブン。
She looked like a very emotional person, but she wasn't at all what Angie had expected the creepy golden witch would be like. She was very loud, overreacting to everything. Not at all like the witch Madeone-chan had talked about, who had lived for 1,000 years and had various servants from the demon world. She looked, well, like an energetic young woman whom Angie's mom might have been good friends with. Brother and the witch talked together happily like a pair of close friends. Dogs often don't trust people when meeting them for the first time. However, people say that dogs feel more at ease with a person once they see their owner acting friendly towards them. Surely, something similar to this was taking place in Angie's heart. As this pushy, temperamental woman who called herself a witch chatted happily with Battler, Angie watched her behavior closely.
その鍵は？
Oh! She's asking about the key. Beata noticed the gold key hanging from Angie's neck. Angie automatically grasped it defensively.
エンジの大切な鍵だ。
After hearing these vague words, the witch stared blankly for a second. But almost immediately, she seemed to understand what he meant.
なるほど。そういうことか。
Let's check the character file. Wait, that was actually... The witch is now a character file, so let's check it out. Beatrice, the Golden Witch, who has lived for 1,000 years. She has already surpassed the limits of humans, and it is said that she will appear in response to a human summons, just as demons do, to lend them her power for a price. She has been called here for a ceremony involving the return of a vast amount of gold, which the Ushima family received from her grandmother. Rokkenjima no longer has any need for the old arguments and tragedies. Oh wait, why is her hair down in over here? But when we go here, her hair is tied. Okay. Okay.
すべきことを明確にした方が分かりやすいだろうと思ってな。
安心せよエンジ。そなたの大切な鍵を奪ったりなどせぬぞ。
本当に？
もちろんであるとも。それはそなたの鍵であり、そなたが決めることである。バトラム、そしてわらわたちもそなたを導く道しるべの役にしか過ぎぬのだから。
When handing her this key, her brother had said that it was very important and she had to take good care of it. Eiji didn't have a clue what the key was for, but it looked like Beato did. However, just like her brother had done earlier, Beato only spoke in riddles. This irritated Eiji. For the time being, the Golden Witch had said that she didn't intend to steal this key, so Angie calmed down a little.
あなたはこの鍵が何に使うものなのか知っているの？
もちろんであるとも。だが、それを教えるわけにはいかぬ。
どうして？
その鍵をどう使うかはそなたが自分で決めねばならぬからだ。
The witch said the same thing as my brother. The pair nodded to each other, but it was all Greek to me. It felt like someone had laid out the riddle that everyone knew about me, and everyone was making fun of me.
やがてわかる。無理に考える必要はない。
Angie held the key tightly. Even if she didn't understand what it meant, it was her own key, and her big brother had told her to take good care of it. With her youthful suspicion, she was scared that the witch might ask her to hand it over, saying that she'd teach her how to use it if she did. Of course, her thoughts showed up clearly on her face. The witch couldn't help but laugh at that honest expression.
安心せよ。そなたのその鍵は誰にも奪うことはできぬのだ。
誰にも奪えない？
そういう魔法が込められているとでも理解せよ。とにかく安心するがよい。わらわもバトラも、そして島の誰もそなたから鍵を奪うようなことはせん。
よい。
本当に？
ああ、本当だよ。そういう魔法がかかってるんだ。
The key was hanging around her neck like an ordinary necklace. Angie could take it off right now if she wanted, and if an adult tried to use force, it seemed like it would be easy for them to take it away. However, both her brother and the witch said that it was protected by a magic that would stop anyone from stealing it.
魔法なんて本当にあるの
Even the 6-year-old Angie knew about the word magic. However, she also realized that real magic didn't exist, and that certain kinds of magic tricks were sometimes called magic. However, her brother and the witch were talking about magic itself.
ああ、魔法は存在する。
本当に？
マリアもよくわらわのことを話しているであろう。魔女はいると、魔法は存在すると、 そなたによく語ったはずだぞ。
True, Mother had talked about that many times. When it was part of the game, Angie had believed her, more or less. However, Angie was, in some ways, sharp for her age. And when she heard Maria talking happily about magic, she sometimes thought that such a thing couldn't really exist.
なら見せて。
ん？
見せて魔法。じゃなきゃ信じない。
おいおい、レアとは島に来たばかりでまだ屋敷に挨拶にも行ってないんだぞ。
Abdu spoke as though he was trying to smooth something over. When she heard that, Angie became sure that magic didn't exist after all.
魔女なんて嘘っぱち。エンジェは知ってるもん。
Oh,
おい、よすんだ。レアとが気を悪くする。
よいよい。魔女に会えば誰だって同じことを問うだろう。いつもならばこのような幼子の挑発に付き合いはせぬのだが、バトラの妹であるからな。特別に披露してやってもよい。
いいのか？
よいよい。では見せよう、エンジェ。
うん。
Though Angie had challenged the witch to show her if she could, now that she was about to be shown, she looked a bit hesitant. She gulped, then stared up at the witch's face. The witch held out her left hand, bringing it close to Angie's face. Then, she slowly spread her fingers. Angie, thinking that she was about to be turned into a frog, shrank back. However, after waiting a while with her teeth clenched, she realized that nothing was happening. So, as her fear turned to irritation, she began to argue.
何も起こらないの？
早とちりするでない。まだ魔法を使ってはおらぬぞ。わらわの手のひらをよーく見るのよ。種も仕掛けもない。
Oh, so that's what she was doing. Now that she found understood, Angie checked both sides of the witch's hand.
うん。何もないよ。
よく見ておれ。こうして握る。そして人差し指を立てる。
She stretched out her index finger and held it right in front of Angie's eyes. It's gonna come from her sleeve, Angie. Come on now, don't fall for it. It's not magic. Magic doesn't exist. You're completely right now. Angie, refusing to show weakness by pulling back, stood her ground and concentrated on the fingertip.
人差し指の先をよーく見ておれ。行くぞ。早いぞ。
The witch rapidly lifted her index finger high into the air, pointing at the heavens. Just as Angie looked up to see the finger raised high, it swung down as though trying to dodge her gaze. In that manner, the finger swung up, down, left, right, then left again, as though Angie was playing a game of Achi Muite Hoi. Achi Muite Hoi. Okay, we gotta read that in the tips file. Alright. So, Achi Muite Hoi is a popular Japanese variant of rock, paper, scissors. Oh, okay. In Achi Muite Hoi, Whoever throws the winning hand sign is not immediately declared the winner, but rather earns the opportunity to win, while the other player must try to avoid losing. The player with advantage says "Achimuite," look that way. The player with advantage says "Achimuite," look that way. Okay. And then, in time with a call of "Hoi," the player with advantage says "Achimuite," look that way. And then, in time with a call of "Hoi," he or she points one finger either up, down, left, or right. At the same time, the other player turns their head, also in one of those 4 directions. If the player with advantage correctly predicts which way the other will turn, they win. Otherwise, the process returns to the beginning with another round of rock, paper, scissors. I've heard of this before. I've seen people play a variant of this before. Just without the rock, paper, scissors part. I've seen this before. I've seen this happen before. I've seen people play this before, but just the finger pointing part, not the rock, paper, scissors part, where they'd be like, 3, 2, 1, look there! And then they'd point their finger somewhere, and then the other person would point their head to that place. And then it's like a best of 3 or whatever, and then whoever, and then, but they switch between each other, so they don't play rock, paper, scissors. First, one person starts with the advantage, then the other player does their advantage, and then it goes until someone. Well, it's a best of 3, so it's until someone gets 2 wins, for example. But it could also do the best of 5 and see who wins, who gets 3 wins. So I've seen that. Feeling as though she'd lose if she couldn't keep up with the fingertip, Angie swung her face this way and that, looking serious. Ever since she was very young, Angie had always hated to lose. She would take even the most trivial game seriously, determined not to lose to the adults. The witch's hand moved faster and faster. Angie didn't lose track of it. Then, the witch's high pointing finger took a sudden swing downwards. And when it stopped, her index finger was curled up, and her hand was held in a simple fist. Could it be that something was going to come out of that hand? Angie, suspecting that this might happen, followed the finger very closely. There had been no chance for that once empty hand to grab something. The witch slowly opened her right fist. And there. Oh. Magic! I don't know, what did she do? The witch gave the cutely wrapped candy to Angie as a present. I'm telling you, it's the sleeve! She had the candy in her shoulder the entire time and then it came down. Trust, Angie, trust. Angie took it and desperately searched for some kind of trick on it, but it was just an everyday, ordinary candy. Telling you, it's the sleeve! It always is, whenever someone does that. I was watching the whole time, so how? She didn't like it, but she was unable to see how that could have been anything other than magic. As the little sister furrowed her brow and bit her lower lip, her brother gently told her once more that it was magic. Oni-chan. She still couldn't accept it. But maybe, just maybe, she still looked grumpy. But it looked like she was becoming at least slightly interested in the Switch.
さあでは行こうではないか。黄金の魔女の帰還であるぞ。
Returns!
黄金の魔女の孫の帰還だけどな。
Okay.
そのキャッチコピー、もう少しなんとかならぬものか。
We really need to do something about it. The big brother and the witch really did seem close. Playing off each other like a pair of comedians, they started heading for the mansion. All the while, Angie held onto the corner of her brother's sleeve, trying to make sure he didn't forget about her. Oh, that's the end of that chapter. Okay, we'll end the video there then. Cool. Coolio. Returning the gold. Ah, nice. Okay, that's Jessica's room. She said she was gonna go. Wait. No, wait a minute. This is the VIP room. Wait a minute. The VIP room was filled with sweets, with a sweet smell of pumpkin tea, and packed with smiles and laughter. So I guess they all visited the VIP room after introducing themselves. So Angie's here and Battler and Beato. Alright, well, we're gonna end things off there. I hope you guys enjoyed this part of Umineko when they cry. That was is Angie getting all grumpy this part. A very grumpy Angie. But Beato's been introduced as a human once again. And she's going at it. She's going off. So yeah, we'll continue next time with more Umineko. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this at least as much as I enjoyed reading it. And yeah, next time we continue. Yeah, alright, y'all. Peace.